Hello and welcome back to Sam and Ham. This is Ham, and today we're going to be doing a little bit more homebrew review. Today we're going to be looking at the School of Demonology, a subclass for wizards. Personally, I think this is really cool because, as neat as all of the default subclasses for wizard are, I do feel like wizards kind of pigeonholed themselves by making all of the default subclasses based on a School of Magic, because it's a little hard for them to branch out now. I mean, yeah, we've got Blade Singer and War Magic, but that's pretty much it. So I think this one would be a super cool one, and I think this one did a pretty good job. Let's dive into it and see what it can do. So its first level 2 ability is Impish Companion. TLDR, they learned Find Familiar, and they can summon an imp instead of one of their normal forms, and whatever familiar you have is a fiend regardless of whatever form it is. Which is cool, that's flavor, gets you a free spell, and an imp is quite a bit better than the average familiar. Some people might think this is stepping on the Pact of the Chain Warlock's toes, but I think it's a generic enough ability that I don't think it's going to be stepping on them too much. I mean, there's a lot of characters that would like to have an imp familiar, you know? Their second ability is Pentagram Magic. They also get this one at level 2, and they have basically 2 ways they can use it. They can either use it to help their allies with warding Pentagram, or use it to hinder their enemies with imprisoning Pentagram. Either way, it's a bonus action to use, and you use it on a target within 60 feet of you. The pentagram lasts for 1 minute, and occupies the space of the chosen creature, but it doesn't move with it. The pentagram ends early if the creature within it leaves, or use this feature again to use another one. And you can use this feature a number of times per day equal to your proficiency bonus before you have to take a rest. Long rest. And so if you use the warding pentagram, obviously you want to use this one on an ally, they get temporary hit points equal to your intel modifier, and they add 1 plus half your proficiency bonus, rounded down, to its AC and has advantage on wisdom saving throws. And for the imprisoning pentagram, the creature has to make a charisma saving throw, and if it fails, its speed becomes 0. The creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns. When it succeeds, the pentagram disappears. If the creature is a fiend, it has disadvantage on the first saving throw it makes. I think the warding pentagram is really cool, and I like the idea of it. Kind of like, you know, this safety magic circle kind of thing. I don't quite love the scaling on it of 1 plus half your proficiency bonus. That just means it's 2 until level 9. It finally hits 3. But, I mean, like, the numbers are fine. It's just, it doesn't go up very often at all. Honestly, you probably could have just said you get plus 2 and then it goes up at level whatever. And that probably would have also been fine. I don't know. That just seems a little bit difficult to remember to me. It's one of those things where if you make a level 15 character, you're going to have to go back and remember to, like, up this one on your sheet because you haven't upped it in, like, however many months since you last read the ability. But, I mean, it's fine. Numbers-wise, it's fine. It's just a little human error I can see playing into that one. And the imprisoning pentagram is actually super cool. Charisma saving throws are so rare that I love seeing more of them implemented. It does seem a little bit strong. Crowd control that doesn't require concentration and is a bonus action to cast. But it only reduces their speed and they can't make opportunity attacks. Just if you have a player that's using the subclass, just make sure every boss has a good ranged option. Last thing you need is for your big bad guy to just get rooted and not be able to move. Starting at level 6, you get Dark Summoner. The first bonus, it comes with a variety of bonus, and the first one is, whenever you make a Deception, Insight, Intimidation, or Persuasion check against a fiend, you can add your Intelligence modifier to the roll. Additionally, whenever you summon a fiend using a Conjuration spell, you learn its true name if it has one, and the fiend gains the following characteristics. It gains temporary hit points equal to your wizard level. It adds 1d4 to ability checks that it makes that aren't contested by you, and attack rolls it makes when the target isn't you. It may not target creatures within your warding pentagram, nor enter their space, and it automatically fails all saving throws it makes against your imprisoning pentagram. So clearly this ability is mostly useful for summon lesser demons and summon greater demons, specifically the last one, but the first one, I mean, it helps somewhat. With summon lesser demons, they're hostile no matter what, even if you know their name, but summon greater demon, you basically have complete control over it, which is pretty cool. Because the fact that you know its name, it has disadvantage on the charisma checks that it makes, but there's still a chance it gets free if it rolls really well. I think this ability is really cool. It's a little bit specific because it kind of only helps 3 spells, the 2 I just mentioned, and it does help summon Fiend, the spell from Tasha's. And I actually really like that. It's pretty similar to the ability from Necromancy Wizards, where it kind of only helps a couple of spells, but those are the spells you want to cast if you're playing this kind of character. You're not going to complain, oh, I only get to buff Animate Dead when you're playing a Necromancy Wizard. That's the spell you want to cast. And it's the same thing here, where, yeah, it only helps these 3 spells, but if you're playing a Demonologist, you want to cast the demon spells, which is pretty cool. I also like that it really helps bring the Summon Lesser Demons and Summon Greater Demons more in line with the Tasha's level spells. Because it's definitely a little hard some days to, like, justify the fact that you're casting a spell that can potentially turn on the party and kill them, versus just casting the Tasha's spell that won't turn on the party and kill them. I think I really need to reiterate, these demons will kill you given the chance, so you really need a good reason to do it, and I think this gives you a good reason. Because the demons you can summon with Summon Greater Demon are much stronger than the Tasha's versions. Or at least they come with a lot more unique abilities, and you'll want to summon them, especially now that you can have a little bit greater control, and yours are even more powerful. So I think this really fulfills the mechanical need, and the, like, flavor niche that you really want to feel. I really like this ability. At level 10, you get Greater Pentagram. Whenever you use your Pentagram feature while another's active, the first does not disappear. But if you try to make a third one, the first one disappears. So basically you can have 2 at once. And additionally, each kind gets an added bonus. For the Warding Pentagram, the person inside also gets bonuses to Dexterity and Constitution saving throws. And for the Imprisoning Pentagram, the creature is restrained, can't teleport, or move or be moved. Which, those are some pretty big bonuses. For the Warding Pentagram, that's all 3 of the biggest saves. And the inability to move in order to stay within the pentagram is a little rough, don't get me wrong. But getting bonuses to all 3 of the big saves, plus some temp HP, I'd consider standing still. And if your DM ever has a problem with it, they can just throw an encounter at you where you need to move. So I think it's fair on both sides of the screen. As for the Imprisoning Pentagram, Restrained is a much stronger crowd control than just having their speed become 0. And the inability to teleport is pretty massive. I mean, it definitely does suck that your class feature could be pretty much negated by Misty Step. And the last ability they get is Demonic Mastery. At level 14, you can use your Demonic Knowledge to bring other fiends under your control, even if you didn't summon them. Basically, when you see a fiend within 60 feet of you, you can use an action to learn that creature's true name and try to control it. You must make a Charisma saving throw against your Wizard spell save DC, and if it succeeds, you can't use this feature on it again. But if it fails, it becomes friendly to you and obeys your command until you use this feature again. And it does have a bit of a CR rating thing, which is a little weird because most abilities don't talk about CR. But I know the Destroy Undead from Cleric does, so that's not really a problem or anything. Basically, if it has a CR over 3, it has advantage on the save. If it's CR 5 or higher, it can repeat the saving throw at the end of every hour until it succeeds, and with a CR of 15 or higher, they're immune. I think those really good CR breakpoints. Anything over a CR of 15 is definitely a boss, especially at 14th level or higher. CR 5 or higher, you get to repeat it, so you don't just get to have a permanent pet, because keep in mind, this feature lasts until you use it again. So if you use this on an imp, which at level 14, I don't know why you'd be using this on an imp, but, and CR 3 or higher just has advantage, which, that's fine. That basically means, like, the most powerful stuff you could have as a permanent bet would be, like, a Shadow Demon, Succubus, stuff like that. You could get some really powerful, like, part-time pets as, you know, pick anything from CR 5 to 15 and you really can't go wrong. I don't know, that seems really cool. Definitely reminds me of, like, Death Knights from WoW, how they can bring undead under their control. Seems really cool. Again, if your DM just doesn't want this ability to be useful, they can just not throw big demons at you. I don't know, this ability definitely does seem a little specific, whether or not it's going to be useful or not. But assuming your DM's willing to throw you a bone, I think this ability could be really cool and flavorful. But that's it. Pretty short, simple. You're mostly going to be dealing with pentagrams. The level 6 ability is super cool. Honestly, with most wizard subclasses, you need to have a pretty good level 2 ability, because that's all you're really going to be using for most of the campaign, probably. And I think this subclass kind of does that very well. So thank you to Sensitive Coyote for making this subclass. I think it's very cool. I'd let any player in my campaigns use it just because it's a very cool sounding subclass. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.